How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another TV edition of Silver Screen and Chill. My name is Matt.
I'm Daniel.
And I'm Ian.
And this week we're talking about two really good shows on TV right now, The People vs. OJ Simpson and Better Call Saul. So let's start off with OJ, right?
Okay, let's
OJ
do it.
is great so far,
Yeah,
right?
no, it's excellent. I thought the last, the back and forth between the teams is just incredible.
It's the best show on TV right now. I'm just gonna say it's hands down best show on TV.
Courtney B. Vance is Johnny Cochran, and it's just
Oh
incredible.
boy,
Yeah,
Best guy since the guy on Seinfeld.
If he doesn't win, oh god, what is his name? Not Johnny. It's not Johnny. What was that guy's name on Seinfeld?
Yeah, what his name is.
No, it's gonna drive me
When
nuts.
Kramer gets him to sue the coffee company
Not
because
Jesse. Yes, but he's
too hot.
he's in a lot of episodes.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be
I'm gonna have
Johnny
to look it up
Cochran.
later because it's gonna drive me nuts.
He's
But
supposed to be Johnny Cochran. Yeah.
People vs. OJ it's awesome. It's just what more can I even
Really good.
say about just how good it is?
What I found was pretty interesting tidbit about this is a lot of the people were not supposed to be in contact with the real life people that they were portraying. So Courtney D. Vance didn't watch anything about Johnny Cochran. He didn't talk to Johnny Cochran. Well, Johnny Cochran's dead. But he didn't watch any video on him or anything like that. And
That's
he just read it and he's doing his own interpretation on it.
Is that true? He really didn't know.
He didn't study his filming or anything.
Oh,
That's interesting. You'd want to study the
because
person
he's
dead on.
crushing it. He's
yeah,
probably
he's doing a really good
just
job.
oh my god.
And what's the chick's name? The prosecutor?
I can't think of her name.
It's something Clark. Marsha Clark? Nancy?
Marsha Clark.
Marsha
Clark.
Clark.
I was watching an interview with her, and they were talking about the struggle she went through, and she didn't meet the actress that was portraying her until they were almost done filming, and then they kind of went back and forth, and she said that it was rough because she thought she did her voice wrong because Marsha Clark stopped smoking. And so her voice was a couple octaves higher, but she said that it actually turned out okay because during the show she's supposed to be a heavy smoker. But that's just a little fun thing that I thought was really cool because they're all killing
that
it.
poor woman is just already in the show. She's getting dragged to the mud. It's gonna get way worse in a couple more episodes.
Yeah.
What episode is this? Are we on?
Four?
Four, five?
4 or 5, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell you.
And how many is it going to be? Is it
I think it's a 10.
to 10? Oh, so they're not even halfway through all this yet.
Good, because I'm gonna say how the show's over.
It's gonna,
I haven't been this invested in a show, maybe since Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it's a really good show. It's a really good show.
It's so good. I'm just the acting, the writing, the cinematography, everything is just really, really solid about this show.
Yeah. It's like you're really taken back and just showing it as it happened. Even though I know a lot of facts aren't exactly accurate as it is now, because I saw on TV they were talking to the dad and sister of
Ron Goldman,
and they said I don't know how they got anything we said to prosecutors or anything like that because we never really said any of that stuff. It's on the show, but I mean, of course they added in for dramatic effect.
That scene was super intense
because that's exactly how you would feel. I mean. Actually, I wouldn't know, but that's how I imagine he would feel.
No,
it
is.
His kid was just overlooked.
It's
horrible.
He said it himself. He's a footnote in his own murder. You know what I mean? He's just, and it's really true because you don't really think of, Goldman as obviously he was murdered in the scenario, but it's always about Nicole. You know what I mean? It's always about Nicole
And OJ's relationship with Nicole.
Yeah, that's the main focus.
Could have led to that.
It's really sad in the show and in real life how two people are dead, brutally murdered, and it's kind of it was entertainment. You know what I mean?
This started reality television.
Yeah, it really kicked it off for sure.
And just little things, how every person that was involved with this was infected by the media. I mean, even you see the judge, he gets a picture signed by Arsenio Hall.
Yeah.
And he's showing it to a reporter and stuff like that, and it just shows how everyone was affected by this.
Yeah,
it was hard to not be a part of this spotlight.
Yeah, and how many people are just they made books. Pretty much just profiting off these two people dying.
Yeah, imagine being on that jury.
Man.
Yeah, I would have wrote a book. I'm not.
Honestly,
if you had to write a book, you were gonna be a millionaire.
There's a big story to tell, though. It's
but then again, you got to think of it as the people who are writing books are mostly close friends. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of hard. I don't think I could do it. If let's say one of you guys died, I couldn't go out and write a book about it. I'd feel like I'm exploiting it.
Yeah. That's why it would be good to be the juror because you're not close to him.
Yeah, seriously.
Just talk about the process.
No, the show, It's really good. The one guy that I think he's not really. I think he's a different character than who he's playing is OJ.
Cuba
Gooding Jr. To me, I think OJ is he's a bigger guy. His voice is even different. He's just, I don't know. When I see Cuba Gooding Jr., I don't see a football player. But I'm still liking his character.
Yeah,
I'm still liking his take on OJ. I just don't think it's.
I thought because
accurate.
what was cool is I heard the side by side of the episode that was 100% not guilty.
Mm-hmm.
You hear OJ's. He actually said that in court, which is insane. But what I liked about Cuba is, which was different than OJ's, was he sounded more confident that he wasn't going to be found guilty, which is that I like that That's about insane. What Cuba did with the character. Yeah,
that could say because I remember I think I brought this up last time. Cuba Gooding Jr. said that he doesn't want to say what he believes. He wants you to just kind of watch the show and guess. Yeah. You know, maybe did he kill her or did he not kill her? Regardless of what happened. The one scene in particular where I was like, "This is really just selling it for me," is the Bronco chase. Oh my God. Yeah. I really wanted to cry watching him in the backseat. And at that point, you're kind of like, "OJ's the murderer. He's awful." And if he is a monster and he killed her, you're not supposed to feel that way with him. But he was making me emotional watching that.
Yeah, it was rough.
He's doing such a good job at the OJ he's created. It's really awesome to see.
Yeah, and I don't know, the whole it's like we keep on saying, it created reality television. This whole dream team aspect of him creating all these lawyers and the inner power struggle between Shapiro and Cochran, and how Nathan Lang's character kind of drives a wedge between them, and how when Johnny, I like the whole phone call conversation that OJ has when he's trying to tell Shapiro that Johnny's gonna be taking the lead, and how he can't really explain it. It's like, well, Johnny is the running back and you're the quarterback, and Shapiro's so I'm still a lead, and he goes, well,
I guess maybe you're coach or something like that.
Yeah. And
some
then,
BS.
And then Rob Kardashian Ross Kardashian.
Also doing a good job.
Oh yeah,
he's really taking a back seat.
To tell you the truth, anyone could have played Rob Kardashian. You just need to put a silver streak in their hair.
You know what though? I think he kind of pulls it off pretty well.
Yeah, I think he's doing a good job.
It could have been worse.
Yeah, he could have a hard time. You know what? That's the thing.
It could have been way worse.
Yeah. But I like how he has to tell OJ he kind of has to push it along.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, how about we just let Johnny?
One of the guys we're kind of overlooking, we're not talking about much, is I can't think of his name. It's a black prosecutor. He's now a prosecutor on the main case.
Oh yeah, I can't. Yeah, he's on the prosecutor
what's his
side.
name?
The one that's in love with Marsha Clark.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I want to say his name.
I know the story. I mean,
Chris or something like that. God, I can't remember his name. But he's the
only black man that thinks OJ is guilty.
He's the prosecutor against OJ now, and he is also doing a really good job.
Oh, that scene with him and Johnny Cochran
when they're talking about the N-word and saying, I don't want to say that, and Johnny Cochran he lets him have it.
I know. How about the scene where he comes up to him in the court and he goes, Johnny, I want this to be professional between us, and Johnny's like, I'm not here to be professional. I'm here to win. And I was like, damn.
Yeah. I was watching that with my mom, and they did that in a cut commercial. I was like, that is a good lawyer. I don't care how slimy you think he is. You want that guy defending you.
Yeah. That was awesome. I thought that was incredible.
Think what you want about what happened. The jury found him not guilty, so you have to just say he's not
guilty.
You have to just say he's not guilty. But if you do believe he's guilty, you can't say Johnny Cochran was not one of the greatest lawyers of all time.
I mean, he
mind games, getting in the head.
Yeah, he was able to use anything to his advantage. What he was able to use to his advantage, he used it.
Yeah,
and it was really cool to just see his inner workings of how he.
I cannot wait to see him do the. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. I cannot wait to see that scene. That is gonna.
They're saving that towards closer to the end.
Well, I think that was his closing arguments in the case, I believe. So that's gonna be huge.
Yeah, because even the shows because I've had to watch some of them on FX Now. When you go to the FX Now app, the whole thing is OJ.
Yeah,
with
it's a cool cover actually. It's a really cool
cover.
I love it.
Cover. So the whole glove thing is going to be incredible. And the whole thing at the last episode was really cool. How they keep on talking about how the cop that Furman wasn't racist.
White supremacist.
And when you saw him at the end, he has a
Total
whole
racist.
Nazi collection.
God.
And how the guy that we're talking about, we can't think of the black prosecutor's name, how he really doesn't want to take him to trial because if that's going to be a huge point in turning the jury against the prosecuting team. Because
what does Johnny say to him? He says, "Hey, let the white people handle Furman."
Yeah.
Like that. Now, do you think he was saying that to help him, or is he psyching him out? Is he looking out for him as like a person?
When you look at it, because he tells him not to bring him up, right?
Yeah. Well, he says. Yeah. At first, I think he says, "Don't bring him up," and then he says, "Let the white people handle Furman." So. I'm wondering, is Johnny just psyching him out, trying to divide, or is he being like? Because remember they were friends. Before.
Yeah, because even his dad says maybe it's a brother just trying to help a brother out. You don't
know though.
Yeah, you don't know, man. You really don't know.
They need to get him and Walter White in like a line contest. I just truly believe.
Oh man, but yeah, that show's going incredibly well.
Yeah, it's gonna.
They knew they struck gold with this script because I mean they knew everyone was going to watch this. If you were alive, then you get to kind of relive it, and if you weren't, you know what happened, but you get to see it happen again.
It gives younger generations like us included a view of what was going on.
This was in '95.
Yeah, and we're not going to.
Yeah, we weren't that old enough to understand what the hell's going on.
Yeah, we were very young. So, oh god, are you caught up, or have you missed like the last episode?
I missed the last one, so I didn't.
Okay, you gotta watch it.
Well, especially when I just heard it's going to be great.
Yeah. Anything else?
Because the whole next episode, they keep on just showing Furman coming up to...
He's going to
be cross-examined, so that's going to be nuts, man.
The actor playing Johnny Cochran's name's Courtney
B. Vance.
He's got to win an Emmy next year, right?
Yeah, totally.
He has to. It's just...
It was funny. I was listening to some podcast and his wife was on it, and she just talks about how sweet of a guy Courtney B. Vance is in real life.
I'm sure he is.
Like, he's a guy that if you need to wake up at 4 a.m, he'll wake up with you.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Stuff like
he's
that.
just a tremendous actor. Yeah. Look at, what was his name? The kid who played Joffrey.
Jack Gleason.
Everyone, if you meet him, if you work with him, they said he's the sweetest kid in the world, the nicest human being in the world. But my God,
he's one of the
Joffrey.
Worst hated characters on TV.
Oh man, you just want to rip that kid a new one.
If you guys watch Batman Begins, he's a cute little.
He
kid.
is. He's with Commissioner Gordon, right?
Yeah. No, with Katie Holmes.
It's with Katie Holmes.
Yeah, but People versus OJ.
It's definitely a show to be watching right now. Definitely,
absolutely. We just had to come back into it.
Just dive into it again.
So another lawyer show that's currently on AMC.
Better Call
Saul.
Another great show.
Things are picking up for Saul.
For Saul, not for Jimmy McGill.
Yeah, Jimmy McGill. You're seeing it, man. He's teetering, and you're seeing it. You're going, Jimmy. You're going down a bad path.
Yeah, we're all caught up on it, right? So, with the whole, when he makes this commercial, Saul loves making his commercials from this Breaking Bad days. Yeah. And he makes that wonderful commercial that gets so many of his clients to call back about this case so they can help with the prosecution.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And when I was watching that, I was thinking like, oh man, it's going to be good. I'm pretty sure that the firm will approve it. And he just goes on with that without permission. But one thing I talked about,
super pissed.
Yeah, the thing that me and my dad talked about afterwards is the phrase, it's better to ask for forgiveness than for permission, because this thing worked out, and if you think about it in real life, if this is going to help them make a lot of money, you're gonna get yelled at.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
well, what's crazy is he has the ability to do it. Like, they would probably have approved it because it's not a bad commercial. It doesn't necessarily reflect the firm.
Is he just being disobedient?
But I think that was the same thing he did with the light.
He just wanted to just do what he wanted to do.
I think with that though, he didn't think it was going to get approved because if you look at their last commercial, there was no life to it. It was all about just reading text on a screen, and that wasn't going to work. He wanted to put some life.
I think his boss, God, it's terrible names. I think his boss, he was really pissed because it was kind of like...
Talking about Hamlin or Cliff? Cliff's the guy...
The guy yelled at him on the phone.
Yeah.
Was it Cliff?
Cliff.
Okay, Cliff, I think he was really pissed too because he kind of like... maybe he felt like he kind of got bitched. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't like, I'm the boss, I'm supposed to approve these things.
Yeah. Yeah, and with anything, you're supposed to go through a process and to help groom some egos.
Yeah, there's channels you have to go through. It's just the way.
But like you said, if you're gonna ask for forgiveness, you better make sure it's a damn good idea, you know.
And if anything, it proved that it was a great idea because look how many clients they got from it. And is this more illegal than what he was doing earlier in the episode?
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know if you guys know. I asked. I didn't really get an answer. But why is soliciting as like a lawyer like that? What was he doing? Why was it so illegal what he was doing?
Because I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really know either. I know it's illegal, but I don't get why.
Because I guess it's not. You're not getting.
You're just coaxing them, I guess.
You're kind of harassing them because like you're going
true.
to their like they're trying to just chill out and eat breakfast.
Yeah.
And he's kind of harassing them, but and like you're also paying someone
Dude,
to break down a bus.
In real life, all those old people would have been like, "Get off the goddamn bus!" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We're just going to play bingo.
Yeah, some older people can be really mean sometimes.
It's so weird how he's transitioning more into Saul now, and he's taking more of that middle of the road kind of deal. I think they even showed that. That's how the season's going to be in the... Have you seen that small quick trailer they had for this season?
One at the bar?
No, he's driving his car, his like old yellow car, and there's a split, like a literal split in the road.
Fork in the road.
Is like and there's like one side leads to like a sunny area, one side leads to a dark like stormy area, and he just drives straight. You know, it's like so he's showing him like he's taking a middle path. He's not being exactly a horrible person. He's not being a great person. He's being himself.
And that is true to the character.
Yeah, and it goes off of what he said from last season when he was talking to Mike, and he's like, I know what stopped me from doing stuff before, and I'm not letting it stop me again. Mm-hmm. And he's not this time. If he wants to do something, he's going to do it.
Mm-hmm. You know what's sad, too, is he's going to lose all this. We've seen Breaking Bad. This girl's not in Breaking Bad. Yeah. Neither's any of his friends. He's going to lose everything at some point.
They showed, there's a short trailer for this week's episode, and it's the boss is talking to her about it. Yeah. So she's guilty by association because they're like, "Did you know about this?" And she's like, "Yeah." And it's like, "Well, why didn't you come to us about it?" And she's like, "Well," and she gets in trouble for it.
It's not going to end well.
That's not going to help their relationship at all.
Jeez, man. That's crazy.
And it's like you can tell they like each other.
No,
they got a cute little they got a nice little love story going. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of love stories, but well done, romantic.
Well, the whole thing is, like, the show isn't revolved around them being in love. It's about their relationship.
And, it's not all dumb and fake, It's real, and it's nice. It's really nice to watch, and you're rooting for the guy.
Yeah, so they just genuinely care about her. She cares about advancing his career. He genuinely cares about her, but he's also...
And that was a bit of a twist, because I thought Saul was going to be totally just friend-zoned. I thought for sure there's no way he's getting with this chick. He's going to fall in love with her, she's not going to want him, he's going to be a bad guy. But it's not the case.
Yeah, and their chemistry does seem pretty organic and all that stuff, and it's cool because she's more his link to that other law firm than Chuck is.
Yeah.
So there's that kind of dynamic, and...
Chuck's an asshole. God, what a 180.
I would never do that to my my brother. There's no fucking way. How could you do that to someone that you love? I mean, be honest with them.
Yeah,
tell them that you love them.
Especially when they're working hard to be like you. Mm-hmm. You're their role model, and they want to.
Man, and I remember
he's taking digs at him at the meeting.
And I remember just last year, I was like, oh, poor Chuck, man, this made me sad.
Fuck Chuck.
Yeah, but remember when he was like the victim?
No,
and you're like,
I get that.
Poor guy, and they're messing with him.
And the beauty about it, I think I might have talked about this before, the lead of the firm, the guy that Saul butts heads with in the first season.
You have his name.
Emma, yeah.
God, you got
how he is actually the good guy in this whole process.
Yeah.
He's the guy that was actually pulling
Well, he's kind of been the good guy the whole time.
Yeah, no,
right?
he's pulled for Jimmy, and he thought... You get the impression that he would have given him a job when he first got his degree.
Yeah.
But Chuck never wanted him to have that job.
Cut that tie.
That's it.
And what sucks, too, is, like, Chuck said how hard he worked. He's still partner, and Jimmy would have not been partner. Or he would have been on the partner track, actually, because of
And it's not like Jimmy's not working hard.
Yeah, and he credits all this hard and all this effort. He credits this all to Chuck. He really does. You get that feeling that he's the one that pulled him out of the slums. He was the one that gave him the will to want to become a lawyer.
If I was at that table, anytime Chuck would talk to me, I would just pull out my phone and just be like...
It's funny that they still make you know that they put the phones outside.
Yeah.
And it's a total...
As far as Quark.
Yeah.
Actor's doing a good job, though.
Set your phone to
he's great.
Set your phone to ring and just slide it over to Chuck. It's for you.
Here you go, Chuck. Yeah. Very awesome.
You know, that was an awesome part about last season when Jimmy finds out about it. He goes, and how much that must have burned to make that phone call, and how you still made it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that scene. That was really good.
He goes, you really didn't want this for me, huh?
Yeah, I really forgot
really
all
hurtful.
about that.
You know what? So fuck.
So do you think in this season? Do you think by the end of this season he'll be Saul?
Yep. Well, I think he'll pretty much be there.
You know what's great is like I talked about. I think last time I talked about Saul is what Vince Gilligan said and talking Saul, because you know I got really excited for the show, so of course I'm gonna watch the after show for it, and how I don't care. I like this.
You're right.
I like this whole Jimmy story, and if he becomes Saul, he becomes Saul. But I could care less. I really just like how this show's going.
It's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, it's totally gonna happen, and that's gonna be cool.
I'm right on board with you. I don't even really care at this point, like what happens.
This show's just great. And Bob Odenkirk is just an excellent actor.
Better Call Saul, it's really good. But do you guys think it's kind of a weird show? Is it kind of like
weird?
I don't know. Just there's certain scenes where you're like, it's just kind of weird. But not in a bad way. Just kind of in it's a strange show. Like, if this were not a spin-off and you were watching this, would you kind of think nothing's really happening, but I'm still invested? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just me. I don't know. But it's still great.
It does advance things
kind
of weird. It's in like a slow process.
Mm-hmm.
But because if you didn't know where it was going, it would be the same. Like, where's this going? But if you knowing the fact that it's gonna eventually lead to him doing.
But I don't. Yeah, but like I don't mind. I'm loving the show, and if it wasn't a Breaking Bad show, I probably still like the show a lot. I would just kind of be like, God, this is a strange show, isn't it? I don't really know what's going on. Well, I know what's going on.
You know, and just having Bob Odenkirk and Mike, Jonathan Banks is just they're able to really split this show up in between them, and it's awesome.
At the end of last episode, did you guys think that Gus was Mike's boss? That was
yes.
Oh yes.
I was like, here he comes.
Yeah.
But then also I really wanted that, but also like I was trying to like figure out like how would Gus have heard about him, or like how would Gus.
I would have just chalked it up to like Gus just pulls his strings. You know what I mean? He's just very, very.
That's got to happen though, right?
I don't know. We'll see.
Got it soon.
It has to be Mike's story because it couldn't be Saul's because Saul doesn't know who he'd never seen him, right?
Right.
Yeah, his only connection is with Mike, and I still love Mike and Saul's relationship. It's exactly what it was in Breaking Bad.
How about his daughter-in-law lying about the shootings
gunshots.
To move out of the house?
Piece of shit.
Yeah, but Mike's the criminal with the heart of gold, so.
Yeah, but like, how could you're totally taking advantage of this guy that's doing anything for you.
Yeah, she really
and
is.
it totally sucks. It totally sucks.
How many of you would have been really tired if you'd been Mike in that scenario where you stayed up all night and had to go to work? And it's a job where you can totally nod off. Just like,
see, yeah, that's the worst part about it because it's a job
he would be
that you
out.
have to
There's no way he would stay awake. He'd be out and fired.
Fired.
And it's like you want to find out like she's right, and it's just the newspaper. That would bum me out even more to stay up all night. And it's like
she goes to the point where she talked about that bullet hole though.
Yeah.
On the side where I couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know why Mike really couldn't say like, hey,
show.
I waited up all night just to make sure you're all right.
Because obviously she wants to get out of there, and if she wants to get out of there, Mike's gonna provide it.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna fight her on it, and that's his
responsibility.
Grandkid. That's the last thing he has of his son who died. He's gonna do everything he can to make sure that and he does as we see.
He really
in the future.
does. He
gets killed for it pretty much.
Let me die in peace, Walter.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But how Mike was that when he's shot and he's dying and he just looks at Walter and he goes, just let me die in peace.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And he has the audacity. Oh my God, Mike! I could have just gotten the number from Lydia.
You
dick.
But hey, shout out to Jonathan Banks. I love that
Jonathan
guy.
Banks, Bob Odenkirk. Keep up the good work, guys.
He works out at the gym that my girlfriend used to work at. So,
Bob Odenkirk?
Jonathan Banks. And he always used to ask her for the spread on college football games. And I guess he teaches...
I just imagine him saying like, Mike, what do you think the spread is? You know what I mean? Like,
I guess he's just a sweet man.
I guess he is.
She's seen, and this is getting a little off topic, but she's seen like Rick Springfield and stuff going on, and they're kind of dicks to her.
Yeah.
But Mike always Jonathan Banks takes time out of his day to be like, how's your day going? He doesn't really give a shit, but he wants you to think that he does, which is cool.
So he's just being a human.
Yeah. It's like
That's great.
Which is cool.
So Better Call Saul. Better call Saul.
Better watch Saul.
Better watch Saul.
Because I actually heard that the ratings this season haven't been as good as they were last season, which is worrying.
Man, we're running into a lot of those problems lately.
Yeah.
Except for Walking Dead.
People are forgetting these great shows.
Yeah, but
watch shows, people.
But it's gonna come on Netflix. A ton of people are gonna watch it. Season 1, they're already, people are catching up.
Right. Exactly.
I hear people who've never watched it. They'll be like, "Oh, dude, Better Call Saul's so good. Oh, you see last episode? No, I'm watching season 1." So,
People are
it's okay. It'll be fine. And
I hope
AMC, like HBO, I don't think they're too worried.
Oh, they have
Because Breaking Bad's ratings.
Walking Dead to just
Breaking Bad, and that covers everything. But Breaking Bad's ratings weren't that great. So till the end.
Till the end. You're right.
Yeah, but like we just said, Walking Dead can carry the network, so they can put out whatever they want.
That's just the biggest show right now.
So let's then move on to what we've been watching this week, and let's just get
what we will be watching this week.
We will be watching this week.
Yeah.
That's right. So
currently I'm back on Mindy on Hulu. I really fell out of love with that show when I went to San Francisco and it was still on Fox.
I'd heard that it was not very good.
His mom actually, Ian's mom, was the one that got me back into it, and it's back to what it used to be.
Because Hulu saved it, right?
Hulu saved it. The jokes are a little bit edgier.
It is.
Yeah, so
it is.
It has a more of an edge to it now, and Mindy Kaling's a really funny person. She helped write for The Office. She's smart. She's super smart.
She's worked her way up from being just a writer to
from
what I've seen of Mindy's been really good.
It's very funny. It's very funny.
She especially in the Hulu seasons, she makes I think she really likes making blowjob jokes because she always talks about like how being on her knees and stuff. And
what was the OJ blowjob?
The Brentwood hello. So yeah, a lot of Brentwood hellos going on there. But the
jokes are a little edgier.
I think it's great. Danny's back to him being just this Italian guy. Like when they have their kid and Mindy's holding their kid, he starts crying. He goes, "You familia?"
Yeah. And she goes, "Don't see that, Mom."
Yeah. And then I think it's just a wonderful show. They're getting back to Morgan. I
was gonna say he loves Morgan.
Morgan's great. Ike Barinholtz.
He loves
Mike
Morgan.
Barinholtz was the last, or Ike Barinholtz. I say Mike.
Yeah,
Ike Barinholtz was the cornerstone of the end of Mad TV. He was one of the last really good people from that show, and he's moving on to
excellent on Mindy, and he's been in the Neighbor. He's in the Neighbor movie. He's gonna be in Neighbors Part 2. So
right.
I think he's a really funny part. They're really a lot back on him. So I think Mindy's a great show to watch.
Mindy on Hulu.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Good. I'm also gonna go for Hulu this week with 11/22/63, the Stephen King story of which stars James Franco going back to 1960 and gathering information to stop the assassination of JFK.
Mm-hmm.
This show, what's interesting what Hulu's been doing with it, it's not like they haven't been doing it like Netflix where a season comes out and it's all the episodes.
They're airing it weekly, right?
Yeah, they're airing it weekly, so it's one episode each week. They're only about 3 in right now. I think another will come out this week, so 4, which is only halfway through. It goes to 8. There's going to be 8 episodes this season. And it's really good. It's really interesting. James Franco's done a really good job so far, investigating what's going on behind JFK. And then what I love that they've done so far in the story-wise is they've shown the 60s to be such an interesting time period. Which, I mean, you can do that with a lot of the older decades because of just the nostalgia factor alone.
Yeah.
But it does such a weird job because it's the people are interesting. I think my favorite part, and I think what's the writing does a lot, is the interesting part of how much things cost back then.
You were texting us about that. I thought that was really funny too.
It's super funny and interesting because James Franco would react how people from our age would react because he goes back in time and he orders like a pie from a diner and it's like that'll be 40 cents and he's like 40 cents, here's $1. Like he just
and they're like, thank you.
Yeah, they're like, what really? And he's like, yeah. He goes, it's $1. They're like, oh wow. So they show how interesting the 60s is like that way through the people, and then it gets really interesting, like dark, because in this last episode they show like the 60s was great for a lot of things, and then boom, there's blatant racism, and it's like, man, the 60s were kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Or kind of, and it's like, so holy shit, like.
Unless you're white.
Wait, so how does he go back in time?
So he has a friend that
you gotta watch.
He goes to a diner, and his friend that owns the diner shows him.
How much is apple pie in this first diner? Just kidding.
He sells a burger for $1.40, and that's interesting why. But you'll find out why. But so yeah, it's just like a closet. He goes into a closet and he goes back to 1960 in a certain spot, and if you want to go back, you just go to that spot and walk
Oh, so you can go back
in
whenever you
the-
want. So.
Yeah, and the way they explain it is like a year in that time is like a minute here. So like you could be gone for like 3 years and it's
I like when they do stuff like
Yeah,
that.
like 3
Interstellar
minutes.
did it.
Interstellar.
Dragon Ball Z did it.
But yeah, continuing on, it's got a really good cast so far. James Franco's good. Josh Duhamel is in it. He's a bad guy in an episode. He's
Very
really
handsome
good.
bad guy.
Very handsome, very scary bad guy. It's a really interesting show to watch. I'm kind of glad. I love and hate the fact that they're doing it an episode a week because I'll wait for it because it's like, oh man, that last episode was so good, but then it's like you want to watch it, so I love and hate it.
See, that's what's cool about. Okay, with Netflix shows, I get it. Like, you release everything at once. But what's cool about the whole waiting in between weeks is it's more interesting for us to talk about it like this.
Yeah.
You get to
Analyze it, think about it.
Suspect it, and there's more tension. And what's a really cool thing about Netflix is catching up on shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's a really good tool. But there's an art to having it wait for every week.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but we are spoiled with Netflix.
But yeah, you got to make sure your show's good enough to wait every week. And like take Dexter for example. We had to sit and wait and watch those episodes. Those last season, you had to sit and wait a week for those piece of shit episodes.
And see,
oh my god,
me going through it a very opposite experience.
And you probably thought it was okay.
Well, I thought it was like the seasons weren't as bad as these guys did because I was plowing
my god!
Yeah,
I would text him and be like, "Are you seeing this bullshit? This was once a great show.
It was
awful.
What a fall from grace.
God, we can go on for hours about that.
Think about
yeah. But,
okay, well, last thing about Dexter though. Think about it. These guys watched 8 seasons of it. They
I only watched
the
last
first
3 with time.
They watched the first, but just off watching the first 2 seasons, they watched these last.
Well, you stuck with it because season 1 and 2 were so awesome.
Season 1 and 2 were some of one of the best TV.
I would say season 2 is one of them.
Season 2 I think season 2 is the best of that show.
Yeah, I love season 1.
But 11/22/63 on Hulu, definitely worth checking out. And
we might actually talk about it next week.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about it either
good.
next week or when it ends, when everything comes together. So definitely it's something worth checking out.
Hulu's making a run at Netflix now.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm gonna try and do something really ambitious this week. What I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna try and watch the Godfather saga on HBO Go.
Oh, they have them
It's
all?
like 400 minutes or something. I'm gonna really try to sit down and watch. I've seen them, but I want to watch what they did with it. I heard they like added scenes or just spliced it together really good all together, and I want to check it out. I want to see that. So that's what I'm gonna do.
You'll like 2/3 of it.
Actually, I think it's only part 1 and 2.
Okay.
They cut out part 3.
Oh, they cut out the best one.
And part 2 deals with different like sections of the timeline and shit. So
part 2 is awesome.
yes,
Part 2 is.
It's it's so funny. It's so hard to figure. Like everyone has a different opinion on if part 1 or part 2 is better, because man, those are both great movies.
Mm-hmm. So that is, I'm gonna try to get like a day off and like kind of just maybe wake up at like 6 and watch it so that I can have the rest of the day. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna watch this week.
Yeah, so that's everything we're watching this week. We talked about some really good shows you should definitely check out. And that about does it for us here for this TV episode of Silver Screen and Chill. Thanks for watching us, and we'll catch you next time.
Gummity bang bang, gummity bang bang, gummity bang bang, gummity.
Let's go to Baby.
Oh, Coney, bang, bang.